Two traders are shopping for a new trading computer on the same afternoon. The first one walks into a big box store and grabs a shiny pre-built off the shelf for $1,700. The second one spends a few $100s more, call it $2,100, on a machine purpose-built for trading with a real benchmark behind it. Look at the boxes side by side and they sound nearly identical. Same amount of RAM printed on the label, same processor brand on the sticker, and to anyone standing in that aisle, the cheaper one looks like the obvious steal. 6 months later, one of those traders is getting half-second stutters every time the market gaps at 9:35 a.m. Eastern Time. The other one is scrolling through charts like butter. Same processor brand, same RAM number, a few $100s apart, wildly different results. So where did those dollars actually go? Here's a dirty little secret nobody selling you a pre-built computer wants you to know. Two computers can have the identical spec sheet, but be totally different under the hood. That number on the box tells you almost nothing about what happens under real trading pressure. I'm tearing both machines apart today, and I'll admit something most people in my position never would. Sometimes a pre-built is perfectly fine. I'll tell you exactly when. Big box store pre-built computers all cut corners in 3 places, and they hide it where you'll never look. Corner number 1, the power supply. This is a part nobody talks about, and it's the first thing that they cheap out on. The power supply takes electricity from your wall and feeds every other part inside the machine. Think of it like a fuel pump in your car. If you have a monster engine but a weak fuel pump, the whole thing sputters under load. Big box store pre-builts ship with a no-name 400 or 450 watt unit. That's the cheapest thing that'll technically turn that machine on. There's no headroom whatsoever. There's no efficiency rating you've ever heard of. It booted up on the showroom floor, so congratulations, it passed. And here's why that matters to you. Trading isn't a gentle load. The market opens, 3 platforms pull data, your CPU spikes hard and fast. A weak power supply can't deliver clean power during those spikes. That shows up as stutters, as freezes, and in the worst case, a random shutdown right in the middle of your trade. A purpose-built, custom-built trading computer puts real money into a quality 650 watt to 850 watt power supply with an 80+ bronze rating minimum, meaning it runs cool, it runs clean, and it has hundreds of watts of headroom to spare when your CPU spikes. It's boring. It never shows up on the spec sheet you're comparing at the store. But it's the difference between rock solid for 5 to 7 years and flaky after just 8 months. Corner number 2, cooling. This one's sneaky because it's invisible. A pre-built comes with the bare minimum, 1 tiny fan and a stock cooler slapped on the processor. It looks fine, and it is fine for about 10 minutes of light use. But your processor has a really bad habit when it gets too hot. It slows itself down on purpose so it doesn't melt. And here's a number that should bother you. A stock-cooled pre-built computer can let a hot CPU drop from 5 gigahertz down to 3.5 gigahertz under sustained load, and you'd never see it happen. So right when the market is moving its fastest and your CPU is working the hardest, that's exactly when the heat builds up and the machine quietly dials itself back. So you finally buy that fast computer, and then the one moment you needed all that speed, the 931 breakout with your charts, your dome, and your scanner all screaming at once, that's the exact moment it decides to take a little break. A real trading machine spends real money on a proper cooling device. A 240 millimeter liquid cooler or a serious tower air cooler that holds that processor at full clock speed all session long instead of letting it back off when it counts. Now, before I get into corner number 3, if you want to know exactly what to look for in a trading computer, every single spec, what actually matters and what's just marketing fluff, I put together a free, complete guide to trading computers. It walks you through the exact power supply wattage, the cooling, the RAM numbers, everything you need before you spend $1. Grab it by clicking the link in the description. All right, corner number 3, RAM headroom. The box says 32 gigabytes, and you figure you're covered. And on paper, you are. But here's what the pre-built doesn't tell you. RAM headroom is the breathing room you've got left after everything's loaded. Windows 11 itself eats about 4 to 5 gigabytes just sitting there idle. Then TradeStation with 6 charts, NinjaTrader with 3 dome windows, Thinkorswim on the side, a browser with 15 tabs, maybe you've got CNBC playing in the background, Bloomberg Bloomberg, your broker's back office. Maybe you have Excel and a group chat going at the same time. That stack right there can put you at 26 to 28 gigabytes before lunch. That's not a desk full of stuff. That's an entire filing cabinet dumped in front of you all at once. On a 32 gig machine, you'll burn through most of it before the morning's over. Here's the counterintuitive part. When you run out of RAM, your computer doesn't stop. It starts dumping data onto your hard drive to fake having more memory. And your SSD is roughly 10 times slower than your RAM at this job. Your RAM answers in nanoseconds. Your drive answers in milliseconds. That's the half-second stutter when the price ticks. That's the platform that suddenly hangs. The gap between having 32 gigabytes and 64 gigabytes on NinjaTrader with 6 charts and 3 domes open isn't a minor upgrade. It's a machine that has room to breathe versus one gasping for air the second the bell rings. A real build puts that headroom on purpose with high-speed DDR5 memory. A pre-built computer from Best Buy sells you the bare minimum and calls it a day. And here's a fact most people skip right past. A lot of trading platforms run on older code that leans hard on single-thread speed, essentially how fast one core chews through one stream of instructions. So a pre-built bragging about a ton of cores for gaming can actually be slower for your platform than a machine built with fast cores prioritized for trading. What matters for platforms like NinjaTrader isn't core count. It's single-core performance measured in the CPU benchmark score. And you can check your own CPU benchmark score on the computer you're using right now by clicking the link in the description. That'll tell you your score. More cores on the box does not mean faster trading. It's a Ferrari versus a UPS truck. Both have 4 wheels and an engine, but nobody's racing the brown truck at Daytona. But then there's a fourth corner they cut, and you won't feel it until the worst possible day, the day your machine goes down. That big box store pre-built computer comes with a 1-year warranty. 12 months, then you're on your own. A real trading computer should last you 5 to 7 years. So on a pre-built, you're betting that the cheapest power supply and the bare minimum cooling we just talked about survive 4 extra years with 0 coverage. That's a bad bet. Every desktop computer we build at Easy Trading Computers comes with a 5-year warranty. 5 years. Not 12 months. We're not installing cheap parts and then praying that they limp past the warranty window. We build the thing to go the distance and we stand behind it. But the part that matters even more than the warranty is the support behind it. Picture this. It's 9:34 in the morning, you're in a live position, and your machine freezes. You call the big box tech support, whether it's HP or Dell or Geek Squad. Maybe your best case is somebody overseas answers a phone, reads off a script, and asks you if you've tried turning the computer off and on again. They've never heard of NinjaTrader. They don't know what a dome is. To them, you're a guy whose computer is slow. To you, it's money walking out the door while you're on hold, locked out of a trade. That's if you get any support at all. When your coverage runs out, the help just vanishes. Here's how we do it. Every machine comes with lifetime technical support. Not 1 year, not 3 years, lifetime. From people right here in the US who only talk to traders all day. So when you call and you say, think or swim, hangs the second you load your 4th monitor, the person on the other end already knows what you mean. There's no script. There's no, have you tried restarting? Just somebody who gets that a frozen screen mid-trade is an emergency. Now, let me keep my promise to you. When is a pre-built computer actually fine? If you're a long-term investor logging in once a week, or if you trade off your phone and you just want a screen for an occasional chart, or if you run one platform, 1 or 2 charts, and you're not in and out of the market all day, a decent pre-built serves you perfectly well. Don't spend a dime more than you have to. But if you're an active day trader, multiple monitors, multiple platforms, fast executions, that pre-built is running the race in flip-flops. And here's the math that flips most traders. The customers who call us almost always come from the same place. They bought that cheap machine first. It crashed mid-position. They missed the fill, they watched the trade run without them, and lost more in that one moment than the $400 difference between the 2 machines ever was. The cheap machine isn't cheap. It's a payment plan with a hidden balance, and the market collects the interest. So where does your money actually go? On a pre-built, it's into the badge on the front of the machine, the showroom shine, and the 12 months of warranty, and then good luck. On a custom-built trading computer like those we have at Easy Trading Computers, those extra few hundred go into the parts that you can't see. That 750-watt power supply, the real cooler that holds a full clock speed, the 64 gigs of RAM headroom, plus a 5-year warranty and lifetime US support from people who actually understand trading. That is what decides whether whether you're rock solid at 9:31 a.m. or you're staring at a frozen screen while the move you waited for happens without you. A little more money, a completely different machine. Now you know exactly where it went. So if you're done guessing and you just want the right machine the first time, one built for trading and not gaming, there's a link in the description. Every system we build is spec'd around exactly what we just walked through. And do me a favor, if you haven't subscribed yet, fix that right now. Slam that subscribe button. I put out videos every single week with one job, making your trading setup work the way it's supposed to. And if you want to see the absolute tippy top ultimate computer for trading that we build for active traders, your next watch is right here. Watch this video next. My name's Evan Z. Thanks for watching. May the trend be with you.